Hello all, welcome to my video on exception handling in Java. Let's discuss about this in detail. First, what do you mean by an exception? An exception, or what do you say, an exceptional event is the problem that can arise during the execution of a program. Just like if you have a program and you are executing a particular program and it has got some arithmetical or logical error in it, so probably you will execute it just to end it in an error, right? So such kind of programming activities that may relate to or that may lead to an unwanted situation or an unexpected output is known as exception. So Java is a programming language which has got its own exception handling mechanism. So we are going to discuss about various schemes by which you can ensure exception handling in Java. So an exception will occur when the normal flow of the program gets disturbed. Okay, so you are expecting a program to print the multiplication table, for example, of a particular number, but unfortunately you have entered something which is not a number. So obviously you are going to end in an unwanted output, right? So this is a perfect example for an exception. So when the program is actually expecting a number to be inserted by the user and he has inserted some other characteristic that has resulted in an unexpected occurrence of an event. So that is a perfect example for an exception. So if this particular program is executed with the user input, with the user's error input, what happens? You will not be getting the expected output. So in that case, the system is going to handle by itself and prompt the user that you have entered a wrong input and you are supposed to re-execute this particular program with a correct input. So this is a perfect example of exception handling in Java. Okay, so these exceptions need to be handled because unless if they are not handled, they will result in unwanted outputs or even may cause errors in your system, even may cause data loss. So such kind of things will not be permitted if you are a good programmer, and if you have the perfect exception handling schemes, then you can use those schemes to ensure that uh, handled. So there are many reasons by which an exception can occur. So first, it may be because, as I said before, a particular user, the end user has entered an invalid data as an input that may be resulting in an exception. Second one, if a file that needs to be opened, if you are searching for a particular file to be opened or to be manipulated and such kind of a file does not exist in your system, that is also an exception. You can have even a network connection. If the network connection was lost in the middle of a communication, that is a perfect example for another exception because it will lead the application to deliver unwanted results, or the communication may result in data loss, so the packets may be discarded. So all these are kind of exceptions which actually can happen while programming or while executing a particular program. So such kind of exceptions should be handled properly so that you will not enter into some irreversible state. Okay, so let's see what is exception in detail. So as I said before, exceptions can be caused because of a user error, or because of a programmer error, or because of some physical resource failure, just like we had it for network resources. Let's see the hierarchical diagram for exception handling classes in Java. So as you can see in the figure, it all starts from the superclass which is inside the java.lang package, and you have a superclass called object which is inherited by another class called throwable. This throwable class is the parent class for all exception and error handling classes in Java programming. So the exceptions or the unwanted or undesirable events can be broadly classified into two. First one is errors and the second one is exception. Java doesn't support any particular classes which can handle errors. All it can do is just shut down the application. That is the only thing that is done for errors. While when it comes to exceptions, or those activities which have caused either by a user's mistake, or by a programmer's mistake, or by a network failure or physical resource failure. Such kind of things are actually coined it as exceptions. So we have actually mechanisms in Java programming that can handle exceptions. So exceptions are again broadly classified into two major classes. First one is those classes which can handle the runtime exception, or exceptions that occurs during the execution of the program, or other exceptions which may not be occurring during the execution of the program. Okay, so this is the whole idea of this particular hierarchical diagram. So as I said before, all these classes are inside the java.lang package. So, as I said, the throwable class has got two subclasses, error and exception. Errors are perfectly abnormal conditions which can happen in the case of severe failures, and these will not be handled by Java programs. Instead, it will immediately terminate the running application. Okay, so just like if your JVM has gone out of memory and you can do nothing with that particular error, then the only thing you can do is just shut down the running application and and popping out an error message. Okay, then if it is due to the program activity, then such kind of an error is called exception. So exceptions will be actually handled in Java programming, and we have got different classes and methods which can help you to actually handle the errors. Okay, so this particular class is again going to have two different subclasses. First one is runtime exceptions, or as I said before, those exceptions which may arise while you are actually executing your program. Such kind of exceptions are called runtime exception. If the user is going to enter an unwanted input, that is a kind of runtime exception. Then you can have IO exceptions, or which is actually, for example, if you are requesting for a particular file and the file was not found in your machine, that is actually an IO exception. Okay, so such kind of exceptions will be handled inside the other exception class, or which we say the IO exception classes. Okay, so runtime exception is going to represent some of the common types of runtime errors that we can actually foresee. Now, you have got 5 brilliant keywords which can help for making your program susceptible to exceptions. Okay, so if you can actually use this particular keywords in the very well scripted manner, in that case you can actually perfectly handle your exception. So those 5 keywords are try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. Each of them are going to have their own roles in exception handling. So during our discussion, I'll be discussing about all these 5 keywords and their corresponding roles. So first let's start with the try catch block. Okay, so the try catch block, the try block or the try statement is actually used to contain all those statements, all those Java statements which may result in an exception. So if you are a programmer and you doubt that this particular statement can have an error, in that case you can include it into the try block. Okay, so this try block will contain all those statements which may lead to an exception. Okay, now what is a catch block? The catch block is going to contain the solutions or your handles for those exceptions which may occur from the try block. You can have one catch block or multiple catch blocks inside your program, but definitely a try block should contain at least one catch block or a finally block. So if you are going to write a try block, then definitely there should be at least one catch block to pop up with that try block, or you should have a finally block. Okay, so catch blocks are going to handle various exceptions that may be arised from the try block. So if you are having an arithmetic exception and you have a catch block which can handle the arithmetic exception, obviously it will be handled by the arithmetic exception catch. If it was file not found exception, obviously it will be handled by a catch which is going to handle file not found exception, and so on. Which if you have an array and the user is actually trying to go out of the array boundary, then that will result in another exception called array out of bounds. So if you have a particular catch that results in handling an array out of bounds exception, then that particular catch block will be actually executed. Similarly, if you have mentioned no specific exception, you have only one general exception, in that case that catch will be written as just catch exception. It will be a generic exception and it will accept all the exceptions, okay, all the possible exceptions. So this is the only point to be noted. If you are writing a try block inside your program, make sure that you have at least one catch block or a finally block after the try block. That is the only thing that you have to make sure about. Next one is throw. So if your particular class, the class that you are actually programming in, is capable of handling a particular exception, in that case you can write or use the throw keyword. So you have an exception, you are sure that a particular exception may occur during the execution of your program, and your class is having all the ability to contain or handle that particular exception. In that case you can use the throw keyword. Suppose if your class is not having the ability to handle it and you have to ask the help of some other classes, most probably the super classes of that particular class, in that case you are not going to use the throw keyword, you will be using the throws keyword. Okay, so just remember this, throws is nothing but throwing into a superclass. Okay, so if you want a superclass to take care of an exception that may be resulting from the execution of your program, in that case you will not be using throw, you will be using rather throws. Okay, then about finally, those statements which you feel that it should definitely execute after, whenever the program is executed, these particular statements are definitely to be executed. If you feel some statements like that, those particular statements can be included into the finally block. Finally block is an optional block. You can have it or not have it. But make sure that whenever you have a try statement, there should be at least one catch block or a finally block inside your program. So these are the 5 keywords. Now let's see how to handle the error. So there are 4 steps while you are handling exceptions or errors in Java programming. First one, you have to find the exception. We call it hitting the exception. Okay, first you have to identify that an error or an exception has occurred. Second one is that you have to inform the occurrence of the event, and that is called throwing the exception. You are going to either throw inside your class itself to handle that particular exception, or you are going to throw it outside the class for that particular exception to be handled by a particular superclass. So that is the second step. You have to inform the occurrence of that particular error. Third one is you have to actually receive the error information. So you have passed the information from the try block. It should be handled by any of the catch blocks. Okay, so the catch block can be, or this particular exception may be handled inside your application, or inside your particular class, or it may be handled somewhere outside the class. So wherever it is, the receiving end should receive the information, and that is known as catching the exception. And finally, you have to take the corrective steps. You have to inform the user, you have to handle the exception, and that is the last stage. We call it handle the exception. So there are 4 steps: hitting the exception, throwing the exception, catching the exception, and handling the exception. Now, so this is actually a particular demonstration. So if you have a try block here, all those statements that may result in an exception will be contained inside the try block, and whenever an exception is occurred, you will pass the information from the try block to the catch block, and that is called throwing the exception. It may be into the class or it may be outside. So I hope you have received a better idea on how the exception handling can happen in Java programming. We'll see the programming details in my next video. So if you have any doubts till this point, you can make use of my comment box. Thank you.